Guys, we live in an interesting time. We live in a time in a day and age where NTE came out, had no 50-50. No 50-50 was already very promising. They didn't have a 50-50. You're pretty much guaranteed a weapon per patch, and you're guaranteed a character per patch. Honestly changed the gacha gaming space as a whole, and the market and the industry is adapting to it as we speak right now, ladies and gentlemen. We have a video here by Gacha Smack. The end of a gacha era is near. Players are tired, boss. I'm tired, grandpa, I'm tired. Which low-key, coming from a gacha player, guys, I hope you guys do know, I am not no like new gacha player, no tourist, none of that. Don't let the ZZ fandom fool you guys. I've been playing these games for years, since I was a little kid, boy. Reason why I clicked on this video is because I did pre-watch it a little bit while I was at my long card slaving 9-to-5 shift, by the way. And let's just say that the conversation steers towards NTE. So let's go and see what Gacha Smack has to say about this, and I'll give my input on why NTE is pretty much changing the gacha game space, and we already have evidence of it because of Silver Flippin' Palace. Silver Palace, yeah, we already, listen, was okay. Can I get a release date on that? Like, I'm actually so for real.
Approaching what I would like to believe is the end of an era. And
we are at the end of an era. NTE has made it to where it's an end of an era. This is gonna be one of those videos where people gonna call me NTE shell, but it's so crazy how they gonna call you a shell even though I'm praising good practices. Yes, we don't need no 50-50. Perfect World themselves has came out and said they made 200 million off of having no 50-50. A weapon banner being generous, or basically guaranteeing you a weapon per patch. Guaranteeing you a character per patch, by the way. So, like,
talk to you today about this. I think it's a very fascinating topic to delve into, and it's perfect and ripe for the particular season we're in with gacha gaming. If you are like me, and I'm pretty sure you are, many of you are, you weren't a gacha addict before Genshin Impact. And
so here's where I'm gonna have to go in and just like glaze myself.
You weren't even a gacha player before Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact. See, you guys are normies. Normies, you guys are normies. I'm joking, by the way. This is nothing to be flexing about. I'm in credit card debt, student loan debt, got evicted from my house, and I somehow somebody supposed to be going to school, even though I have, you know what? TMI. No, I'm not trolling, bro. This is dead serious right now. When did Genshin Impact come out? Genshin Impact, guys. Genshin Impact came out in 2020. Guys, you want to know how old I was or what I was doing in my life in 2020? I was literally in middle school. Yes, yeah, bro. Like, no. Contrary to believe, because yes, people want to say I'm a LARPer. See, people want to say I'm a gacha tourist or whatever they want to call it nowadays. Bro, I've been playing gacha games since before Genshin Flippin' Impact. Okay, for one, and I'm very young. I be seeing people call me Unc because I know I got the facial hair, which, mind you, the only reason I have this facial hair is because Jane Doe do like it when I'm in the boom boom. But outside of that, guys, okay, let's just put this in the back of your head, right? This is one of the first gacha games I've ever played. Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle came out in 2015. Guys, get this through your heads. Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle came out in 2015. I was playing gacha games before the whole gacha went mainstream. Before that, listen, no, I had to glaze myself, even though we are talking about, gacha games when, we can be in credit card debt, student loan debt, but at the same time, right, mind you, this game does not have a 50-50. So when I'm telling you guys that I know the gacha space, and I'm telling you right now, NTE is a big step to it, like AAA gacha games, this is one right here. Let me tell you guys another game I played, right? Naruto Blazing. And you wanna know this game came out? July 14th, 2016, fellas. 2016, and I just find like this game right here not too bad on the like the summons weren't that bad. Now look, the summon steps weren't too bad, as you can see, right? Y'all don't know nothing about this game, but look, you do get a guaranteed feature character. This game was like actually more generous than Dokkan Battle. Mind you, Dokkan Battle has no 50-50, guys. No 50-50, no soft pity, no anything. You just summon and you have to keep summoning on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Look up the truth and look at how many summons this man had to be doing to max out a unit. That's all I'm gonna say, right? And then on least at right here, Naruto Blazing, right? You're at least guaranteed one of the new feature characters, right? Based off this chart we're saying right here, you're guaranteed one of the new feature characters. So I will have to say that this one is way more generous. Plus you get, 3 times up rates, stuff like that. And here's another game I played. Another game I played was Naruto X Boruto Ninja Voltage, guys. Man, this brings back memories, bro. 2017. So when I'm telling you guys that NTE is making a big step into changing the market, NTE reportedly making over 200 million. Most of these games, like this game right here, EOS. Because you want to know what's crazy? This game went EOS when they didn't have a 50-50 system. As far as I know, they didn't have a 50-50 system. Naruto Blazing, this game went EOS because it didn't have a 50-50 system. The only game right now that doesn't have one is, I repeat, Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle. There is no 50-50. There is no pity in this game. And the only reason why this game is still doing decently okay is because it has the Dragon Ball IP. See, when I told you guys that Silver Palace does not have the it doesn't have the luxury, let me say that, of being a AAA title that's trying to appeal to a wider audience and that's trying to, that's not an IP. We don't know, there is no Silver Palace flipping IP, buddy. Dokkan Battle can get away with this because it's Dragon Ball characters. It's Dragon Ball, okay? Same way with Dragon Ball Legends. Again, another game I played. Came out in 2018, mind you. I played this before Genshin flipping Impact. Genshin Impact was a huge thing to the space, and that changed the market. NTE is a new thing to the space, no 50-50, and it's changing the market. That's why people are going crazy, and I'm going crazy over Silver Palace. Just wanted to give you guys a little deep dive into why I'm saying that NTE is changing the gacha game space.
It was the first game you got into. The game was so monumentally massive because of the pandemic, and that it was also a fresh game in the space, that it brought in a heaping amount of players out.
You know what? It's so crazy that I did not really, like, guys, contrary to belief, while I have played gacha games, I never played. I played Genshin Impact a little bit, but I never was into it heavy. I knew it was popular, but it's crazy how, yet again, ZZZ was the first one I really got into. Now, I did play Genshin Impact first, yes, but for one, that account is gone. Like, Lord forbid where that account is. You say you took it? You deleted it? What?
Out of the gacha space, normies, people from different respective niches, so on and so forth. And the good thing about that experience when it happened is that was also the very first time a lot of people got to play a gacha game.
It was, and it did show. That's why, like, low-key, I was never mad at the 50-50 system at first, right? Until I heard that NTE came out and there was no 50-50. That's when I was like, okay, see, and you can go back to my videos and check yourself. Also, I did eat Taco Bell, by the way, guys. So if I'm going to the bathroom, you know, regardless, this is when I heard NTE had no 50-50, right? I was like, oh, this is going to be huge. I already knew it was going to be huge. I already knew it was going to be, like, I already knew. And the fact that it's going to be people that somehow, some way, I just find it ironic how when people want to bring up Silver Palace and the gacha in that system, we're comparing it to Hoyoverse, Wuthering Waves, AKE. Notice how no one's bringing up NTE because they know NTE is the best system out of all of them. I just find that ironic. I find that crazy. That's crazy.
About gacha games, there are some very fun aspects about them, and those fun aspects were overwhelmingly positive for a fresh experience, right? We had our V cards like basically cracked.
Yeah, low-key Silver Palace did crack my V card. I ain't gonna lie. Like, well, let me say NTE, I did like NTE. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna seriously pretend like I didn't like NTE. Silver Palace though, that opening with that story was like insanity. I was like, yo, man.
With this game, and so the hype, the FOMO, the oohs and ahs. You know, when you play a gacha game at launch, its climax, it's what do you call it, honeymoon phase, is incredibly powerful. So when you play a gacha game for the first time, it's infinitely more powerful than you would think. But basically this happened and people fell in love with these games, and it allowed them to basically have kind of like a tunnel vision for ignoring the predatory practices, the alarming problems of what comes with it.
And it's so crazy looking from the inside, the outside in, even though I technically am in the inside. I don't know what I'm talking about. I tried to sound smart there. Regardless, what I'm saying is, it's so crazy because, like, when Genshin Impact had the 50-50 system, I was like, oh, it has a 50-50 system. Like, you're guaranteed to get the character. Guys, there was no games like that, like heavy hitter games. Like, and you gotta, like, think from my point of view, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle was consistently on the top of the charts. I believe FGO was always on the charts, but I don't think that game even has a 50-50. I don't know. Another game was Dragon Ball Legends and the Naruto games, but as you can see, both of those Naruto games went EOS. So that just lets you know they wasn't really making that much profit. So the only business model I went off of was Dokkan Battle. If I got the character, I got the character. If not, I didn't. It was just GG. It was just GG. And then Legends came along, and then mind you, Legends has no 50-50 also, by the way. So this FYI. But it's interesting to look back in, and this is so normal to me. It's just like, it's so normal. Like, I think that's what's so crazy.
And you were able to get away with these garbage practices as a developer because there also wasn't any other games to compare, to reference. And
when I say that it wasn't anything, like, it was a norm to me, there was no, like, open world gacha game. Genshin Impact, we got to give the flowers to Genshin Impact, even though we clown on it to this day. There was no game like Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact was a once in a lifetime type of game. There was no open world gacha game as far as I remember back then in the day. Like, making me sound like I'm an unk, but bro, it was none of that back in the day. Back when I was watching Blade, mind you, I was watching Blades back then playing this stuff. So I'm not that old, guys.
Mainstream space, especially to news.
Bro, I'm probably younger than all y'all.
You were able to get away with basically. But then what happens? Time starts to go by, and these issues start to become more apparent and alarming, and players start complaining, and they start looking for another game in that respective need to play, because at that time it's not oversaturated. It's not fragmentation at the point in time, right? So then Honkai Star Rail comes out, and that becomes the next code for playing a gacha game that...
Which I find it funny they say cope. even though it's made by the same company. Like I Sorrow, like dare I say, they almost follow the same practices as Genshin. It's not as worse as Genshin. Like, I feel like when you get like Genshin still is like it got that Impact. Well, AKE really got that, but we don't talk about that.
It's going to be different. But then you realize you're playing two gacha games now that both have 50-50 systems, right? So that same wallet is now having to spend just a little bit more money, even if they aren't spending as much money on one individual game. You combine what they're spending on two games, and it's increasing. And everybody,
yeah, definitely increasing. Look, that's what I'm saying, bro. You know, let me spend.
Everybody only has so much money that they can spend on one individual gacha game, let alone 2, 3, or 4. So what happens is the space has to increase in volume and popularity, because if it doesn't, well, then you just have the same players spending the same money from their wallet, only going to carry you so far. And so what happens after this? Wuthering Waves comes out. The real Genshin killer. At least that's what
I remember when Wuthering Waves came out. It was so crazy. So crazy how like much discourse it was causing. Bro, because listen. Like, I was there, but once I saw ZZ came out, I was like, yeah, I am gonna have I'm gonna have to hop on ZZ. Unironically, which because like look, guys, at the time I wasn't playing Genshin Impact. I wasn't playing any of these gacha games. Actually, I was not playing any of the 3D gacha games until like whenever ZZ came out. That's when I was playing it, right? Wuthering Waves came out, I tried it, but then when ZZ was out, I saw the Gunnar aesthetic, I saw Nicole, I saw that flipping Jane Doe trailer that genuinely was one of the greatest trailers I've seen of any gacha game of my life. That's when I was like, okay, yeah, sorry, Wuthering Waves, you're not appealing to me. Then what's her name? Called? Then I forgot her name. Just know that one character that was eating the cherry, and Wuthering Waves came out. Bro, Wuthering Waves, they knew what they was doing with that.
They were being marketed as whether they wanted to or not. More players start playing that game. Some of them leave Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail to play this game. Some of them stay there. Others start playing 3 different gacha games at once. But regardless, a lot of players aren't coming into the space the way they did when the pandemic announced Genshin Impact. It's kind of just the same players circulating around and trying different gacha games. Particular dynamic and pathing continues to happen, but it speeds up rapid. As we know, you know how this story goes. More and more gacha games start coming out. You got Chaos Zero Nightmare. You got Love in Deep Space. You've got Arknight's Infield.
Which is so crazy that all of these games are new. Like these are all new. Like, you would think that these games have been out for years, but they really have. Bro, half of these games have not even hit their 10th anniversary. Let that sink in, guys. Half of these games have not even hit their 10th anniversary. Like, ZZZ is just on their 2nd anniversary. Wuthering Waves is just on their 2nd anniversary. It's just crazy to think about.
Neverness to Everness. You've got many other Nikke, Goddess of Victory, Girls Frontline 2, Exilium. All of these gacha games start coming out, but a lot of them are still doing 50-50 system. Chaos Zero Nightmare did the 50-50 system. Girls Frontline 2, Exilium did it. You've got Uma Musume. You've got Star Savior, which aren't even 50-50s. They might even be worse because you can keep pulling until you just hopefully get the character.
Welcome to Dokkan Battle. And Dragon Ball Legends, bro. I'm telling you right now, when I did finally get a JOB, we ain't saying the word because that's a slur. But let's just know when I was at my long card saving 9 to 5, right? I had acquired some money, and Dragon Ball Legends. If you play that game, guys, let me just dumb it down. The game has no 50 flipping 50. The game does not have a guaranteed system. So you have to keep pulling and keep pulling and keep pulling until you get the character. You can understand how much money starts to ramp up. And I was already starting to notice, like, wait, low-key, this is ridiculous. Bro, I was like, bro, wait, what if I actually run out of money if I can't pull the character? Am I just out of luck? You're literally out of luck then. Like, literally, you're out of luck. So I just find it crazy, right? And the only reason they can get away with this is because it's a Dragon Ball IP. The only reason Fate Grand Order can get away with whatever that they got going on over there is because it is the Fate IP. These new games don't have the luxury of doing that. That's why Genshin Impact did it. Imagine if Genshin Impact came out and they didn't have a 50-50. Would it have done good? Probably. Who knows? But they wouldn't have been able to, like, the marketing would have to been different. It would have been completely different, honestly. I wonder how it would be if Genshin Impact did not have a 50-50. Wow, that would have been insane.
But one thing that's for certain is the gacha space as a whole is not actually expanding, and if it is, it isn't enough to compensate for that fragmentation and oversaturation of rapid gacha games.
Yeah, it's not enough
with these 50-50 systems. And so what's one thing we learned as time goes by? I remember in the beginning I tried to tell people so much about these predatory practices and how much money you're actually spending on these games is ludicrous, that these companies are making too much money, and it was falling on so many deaf ears. You speed up today, and people now understand that phenomenon, that problem, over glaring.
You know, Wuthering Waves, like, listen, back then I didn't have a JOB where I was working consistently. Now that I have a JOB that I'm working consistently, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to call this out. Wuthering Waves anniversary. And the thing about Wuthering Waves is, like, Wuthering Waves, it's so good with the character design, so good with the animation. It's like you really cannot skip. And I'm like, bro, they keep releasing good characters. I have to respect it, but I also have to respect my wallet. And my wallet likes NTEs. Hello. sorry. My wallet likes NC Flippin' E, a game that does not have a 50, like 50, a game that guarantees you a character at 90, soft pity at 70, like weapon banner, one of the most free-to-play friendlies in the space, guaranteed character. Like, I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm going to invest in NC Flippin' E
because they're starting to play all these different gacha games. Some of them are trying to manage multiples at once, and they're spending so much money. One of the reasons, because of the 50-50 system. Losing it means spending a lot more money than you're comfortable with spending, and nobody wants to feel like they lost trying to acquire a character. Spending money to acquire a character in and of itself is a fool's errand. It's foolish, but it's also a part of the gacha culture.
Yeah, definitely foolish. Definitely foolish to spend the money on, like, mind you guys, it's foolish to spend money on pulling characters. Let's just let that be known. Like, this is a terrible waste of money until you realize that, wait, you can actually have a budget for it, and you're wasting money. Technically, if you want to get deep, you're wasting money by buying games. So if you're gonna buy, you guys are gonna have to take that budget that you use to buy games and put it in gacha game. That's how I go about it. Now, for a free-to-play player, you just genuinely cooked. I ain't gonna lie to you. At least you're not cooked, and like, you gotta be real smart with it. That's all I'm gonna say. You just have to be smart.
And that's a battle I gave up on a long time ago. However, if you could choose to have a 50-50 system or not have a 50-50 system, most would say F the 50-50 system.
Yeah.
Well, now we're living in a gacha space where developers are competing for your time and your money because the gacha space isn't increasing in volume enough to overcompensate for oversaturation and fragmentation. And when those two variables compound on top of each other, now you get a very competitive market where the future gacha games now have to give you better incentives, better monetary incentives and practices for free-to-play friendly dynamics.
Honestly, it's just natural. It's natural. The only reason why the anime Shonen Spear has not caught on to this is because they have huge IPs. Like, guys, just think, this is just business. Like, I'm willing to pull for a character of, let's say I've been watching Dragon Ball since I was 6 or 7 years old. No pun intended, by the way. No pun intended, by the way. I'm more willing to tolerate some of those practices. Now, obviously, am I going to stick with it long term? And honestly, if you're speaking to me right now, in my point of life, would I do that? No. I'm not gonna lie. I, like, after going to these games, I'm sorry, and going, playing NTE, playing Wuthering Waves, playing ZZZ, those games have 50-50s. I'm not going back to no freaking predatory, no 50-50 bull game. Like, we done with the 90s. Like, stop it. I'm done with the 90s. I don't care. So that, I'm done with that. But it's just natural for the market to do that.
So that you want to try their game and potentially leave the game you're playing or try to squeeze in their game with the game you're playing. And here lies the problem. Here comes the end of an era. Because this is becoming a over-blaring problem for developers and publishers, they now are forced naturally to make their games way more accessible and free-to-play friendly than the ones you're currently playing. And this is where things get interesting, because the first
this is where things get fun.
That power move was neverness to ever.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go ahead and give the flowers to NT Flippin' E, because the amount of doom posting, the amount of hating that you would see on NTE is kind of insane. It's honestly just like, it's honestly questionable. Because why are we, right, hating on a system like Neverness of Evidence? It just doesn't really make sense to me. Like, it really does not. Like, it's like, you better off saying that the game is not for you instead of trying to doom post it or just straight up lie or just straight up, like, just nitpicking. Then you just better off doing that. Like, just say the game ain't for you. You better off saying that.
Not a PvP, and that's very important, because Epic 7 and Summoner's War and Etheria Restart, people will try to say those games have guaranteed no 50-50s. That doesn't matter because they're PvP, and if they didn't make their game a guaranteed rate up, people would just quit them because
and you want to know what's funny about this? What's funny is Dragon Ball Legends says has a PvP, but guess what? That game doesn't have a 50-50, which again goes to show you guys that if you are a big IP, anime IP, and you don't have a 50-50, you're good. These new AAA gacha games, they have no choice but that you have no choice but to not have a 50-50 no more. Honestly, you have no choice. Eventually, you have no choice, or you're gonna have to like be so close to it, so close to there being no 50-50, to where it's so favorable that at this point it's basically not a 50-50. So
hell wants to play a PvP game where you're gambling on getting characters that are meta. Nobody wants to do that. It's not a PvP game. But when a single player game comes along and says, we're doing no 50-50, we're not doing it, we're giving up on that, we'll get it, we'll get our bag by various means such as cosmetics and such, but we are done with the 50-50 system. That is a huge power move by that particular developer that's also going to ripple and affect future gacha games and pre-existing gacha games.
Yeah.
It's the first
cough Silver Flipping Palace. Notice how everyone is going Discord, going crazy on Silver Palace, and it's so crazy. We do have a few people that's saying, that's comparing it to NTE, but we also have people just not bringing up NTE at all. Like, I find that funny. Let's address the elephant in the room. NTE, Perfect World said that NTE has made 200 million. 200 million, guys. NTE hasn't even been out for what, 2 months? It hasn't even been out for 3 months yet. It's made 200 million. All right, no 50-50 system. Basically guaranteed a weapon per patch. I don't know what else you want me to say. Honestly.
Going in the right direction, truly, especially when you consider fragmentation and oversaturation. Right now, we're in a space where when a game starts to drop, the first thing people question is there a 50-50 system? People have become so overly sensitive to the 50-50 system that they won't even touch the game if it's a 50-50. If it's officially confirmed 50-50, oh, not playing it. Some people right now jumping to conclusions on rumor, and it's not even confirmed yet by the devs of Silver Palace if there actually is a 50-50 or if it's Arknight's Infill Revenue.
Which we can now confirm it is no 50-50. It's no 50-50, but that means that if you get a 5-star character, you can consistently lose to the standard 5-star flipping character. That's how bad it is. And you're guaranteed at 100, which is way lower, which is, pretty low. Still not lower than NTE. Notice how NTE, when you just compare it to NTE, it's like, honestly, what can be NTE? Nothing. We are eating good at NTE. That's why it's my main game. Why would it not be my main game when I'm a Dolphin player? If you're a free-to-play player, this is the best one to play. Why would you not play it? Why would you not play it?
People are so sensitive to it. Nope, I'm out. And I think this was the natural path of what has transpired in the gacha space. But getting back to NTE, the best thing that people can do by saying you don't want a 50-50 is support games with no 50-50s in the space.
Ding, flipping, ding.
It's not like you need a rocket science degree to understand this phenomenon. If you doom post NTE, well, then you're also telling the developers, future gacha game developers, we don't care if you even put no 50-50 in your game. We're still going to doom. But why would I remove my 50-50? I mean, NTE did it and they still hated on the game. Let's just go proceed with the 50-50 because they're playing Wuthering Waves, they're playing Arknight's Infill, they're playing Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rails, Endless on Zero. All those games have 50-50s and they're making a heaping amount of money off of these guys. So clearly, getting rid of the 50-50 isn't the issue. You see where I'm going? Silver Palace is another game coming into the mainstream space and all eyes are on its gacha system.
Whenever this game comes out, I'm telling you guys right now, this game has a lot of stuff going for it. But if it has a 50-50, excuse me, it doesn't have a 50-50. If they don't change the gacha, I'm not gonna lie, fellas, because mind you, that game has it has a 50-50 on its weapons, by the way. No, absolutely not. Silver Palace, change that immediately. Immediately.
Because what y'all are going to do is you're going to compare it from Everness to Everness. That's what you should do. You compare it to the best market contender.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Compare it to Everness to Everness. I don't know why people are comparing Silver Palace to. I mean, I guess I can understand because it does follow a similar system to that. But let's address the elephant in the flipping room. So again, it just doesn't make sense on why we're comparing Silver Palace to, like other games. Like you can compare it, but like not having NTE in the conversation at all is just like insanity.
In the mainstream space. And that's Everness to Everness or a free-to-play, consumer-friendly experience. By doing that, you are now forcing another mainstream space game. You have to confine to that principle because if they don't, it's going to be a massive market capture loss. And on top of that, just recently, facing Collider Rider, another upcoming gacha game.
I did see that. I think that's a game where you can actually marry one of the waifus in the game. Just know I may or may not be playing that regardless, right? That has no 50-50. I did see that on Twitter, aka X, aka Elon aka the app. Actually, you know what? Let me not say that.
No 50-50. And they're adding limited banners into the standard banner upon their banners expire. This is, again, in the right direction. Another game people need to support. It's important you support these games because that's how you tell future developers, we don't want 50-50s in our game. But them on top of NTE doing this, not only is it going to put pressure on future gacha games, it's going to put pressure on pre-existing gacha games too. Because what's going to happen is people who are playing these current gacha games are going to go, hey, hold on now. Why aren't you guys doing this? Why?
Mind you, I can confidently say this. When I told you guys that, what's the name? When I told you guys that, somebody in my comments was like, did you quit Wuthering Waves? I was like, no. But it drained my flipping wallet. Guys, it drained my wallet. The amount of money I was spending on Wuthering Waves anniversary because I took a break from Wuthering Waves. I was looking at my bank account. I was like, bro, I'm done with this. I don't care how peak 3.5 and upward is going to be. I'm probably like Wuthering Waves might be a seasonal game for me. No bull, it might be a seasonal game. NTE is my main game. I got Wuthering Waves and then I got ZZZ. If Silver Palace, even if Silver Palace were to somehow somebody come out, that game is like worse than Wuthering Waves dang near with the gacha system. So I'm still playing Wuthering Waves, but I looked at NTE and I looked at my wallet and I'm like, son, why am I spending this much money on Wuthering Waves characters? And it's not even that bad shit Wuthering Waves because the characters are worth to summon. It's just that it's not worth my wallet going into credit card debt. So sorry, not sorry.
Added these limited characters into the standard banner. Why do you still have to do this 50-50? You're making plenty of money. Overall net positive for the gacha space. And this is why I said this is potentially entering the end of an era, and that era is the 50-50 era.
Yeah, now, good. Thank you, NTE. Thank you. It's time to get this era out. Any new game, let me just make this clear. If you are a new game and you have a 50-50, I am not taking you seriously. I am not pulling this wallet out for you. If I somehow, some way were to summon on these characters, right? If I were to do it and for some reason I don't pull the character, I'm done. I am not pulling out the wallet, son. Definitely not pulling on that weapon banner. What do I look like doing that? What do I look look like doing that, boy. No.
I think that Wuthering Waves and Hoyoverse and current pre-existing market captures are going to die upon all of this happening. No, but it is going to take away and trickle away from their audience. There's going to be a lot.
No, definitely not going to die. But yeah, he's not lying. Like I said, Wuthering Waves, I did fall back from it. When low-key, I probably should. This should be the time when I am on it. But this is naturally how the games go. Anniversaries bring you back into the game, and then you can either keep playing along the way, or you cannot. Wuthering Waves though is pretty smart because it at least reveals the characters ahead of time, so I know what characters I might summon on. I can tell you right now, Yang Yang and what's her name, Sui Sui, those characters are gonna have to wait. They're gonna have to wait.
Players that are gonna stay because they're loyal and they have sunk cost fallacy and they just love the game so much, and that's okay. But there's gonna be players who are playing and they're like, you know what, I'm out, man. These other games are just way more free-to-play friendly, way more accessible. And as I said before, I only have so much money in my wallet. I only have so much time for free time for playing video games. And me trying to keep up with this very expensive game, where a big part of my enjoyment is character collection, it's too expensive. I can't afford it.
Guys, I went into credit card debt, student loan debt, got evicted from my house because of Wuthering Waves. I'm joking, by the way. I didn't get that. No, that didn't happen. But like I said, guys, again, go to my channel, go to all of my summoning videos for Wuthering Waves. Look how many 50-50s I lost. Look how many times I was heated because I lost a 50-50. Look how, just look. I want you guys to look, and then when you look, you're gonna be like, dang, low-key, I understand. Because I was done with it. I was done once the anniversary was over with. I summoned for every anniversary character. And oh my goodness, not to mention the Cyberpunk collab. Genuinely, like, ruined me and killed me. Yeah, when I say I have trauma over the Wuthering Waves anniversary, I mean I have trauma over the Wuthering Waves anniversary. Out of all my years of playing Gacha games, I don't think I spent as much money as I did on Wuthering Waves. That's when I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. NTE is the main game. I'll spend money on that. At least I can spend some money, and I can at least be guaranteed to get characters and potentially dupes of those characters. With Wuthering Waves, you can get the character and then that's it. I can spend money and get both of the characters on the patch in NTE, and while acquiring dupes, by the way. Done. I'm done with that.
Why would I spend $150 to just acquire a character absent of their weapon when I can go to this game over here?
Right, absent of their weapon. I don't have Lucy's weapon. Like, I don't have Lucy's weapon. I don't have Higeki's weapon. I don't have Dinya's weapon. So all of that is fine and dandy, right? It's honestly just great. It's just great, honestly.
And spend $75 and get the character and their weapon. You see what I'm saying? It's very common sense. At the end of the day, I think we are naturally going in that direction, but it's important that the consumer remains conscious of these games and the monetary incentives that they're doing. I think it's great that people scrutinize Silver Palace in future games in terms of whether they're doing 50-50s, so on and so forth.
Listen, like I said, any Gacha game I'm covering for the future, if you do not listen, if you have a 50-50, my bad, because I don't know if I'm saying if you don't. If you have a 50 guys, stop it. I'm not taking you seriously. Now again, I will play you. You ain't getting this wallet. This wallet that got a gold premium credit card on it. So just let me know. Just let me know. Base Smack NTE already. NTE is already a living proof that you don't need a 50-50. Again, you don't. They made 200 million. So yeah, again, most of my gacha spending is on NTE right now to support the lack of 50-50. Exactly. I don't mind spending. NTE could ask me for NTE could ask me for a lot, and I'll probably do it. I'm just not gonna lie to you guys. NTE should be supported for at least sending message to greedy corpos that we don't need 50-50. And so far, because we do have to make sure, like, this is be known, this is a company at the end of the day, but they haven't been so obvious with the predatory practices to where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a problem. Like, just let that be known. I've been slowly dropping gacha games silently. Wuwai, ZZZ, Persona 5X, 7 Deadly Sins Origin. I can feel the shackles slowly lifting. That's way too many games for me. Persona 5X, I was gonna play that game, but that game was showing like seeing favoritism, and I don't like that. So don't like that. Again, these are my only my current rosters: Wuthering Waves, ZZZ, NTE. That's the only games I'm playing. Everything else, stop it. I don't spend money when it's gambling. NTE gives me what I want when I spend, so I do. Easy logic. Now, technically, you could apply the same thing for, Wuthering Waves. But here's the thing about Wuthering Waves. Like, I believe that, see, you could just spend $99 in NTE and guarantee the character. Easily. You probably don't even need that, honestly. Just giving it a buck, right? And Wuthering Waves is just more expensive, like, for a free-to-play player, for a Dolphin and a free-to-play player. If you're a free-to-play player, oh, God, man. So, yeah, this was a very interesting video by Gacha Smack here. We'll go ahead and give it a like. But as I'm saying, NTE is pretty much changing the space, guys. And Silver Palace, you got a lot of work to do. I ain't gonna lie. Not really. All you gotta do is change the 50-50, and I'm gonna be straight blazing this game. Promise you.